What do you think about the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict? The prosecutor was the greatest defense attorney I've ever seen / stranger on YouTube. There's a pretty good defense fleet. After that dumb shit of a prosecutor was all like, is it core CT that why up la yet Call of Duty, where have guns like R15s. I fucking swear that the prosector was gonna accuse Kyle of buying tickets to Joker, 2019. Mr. Rittenhouse, is it true that you once bought an Eminem CD that contained vulgar and angry lyrics? I think they should have just turned off the lights and gone home when the prosecution witness said he pointed his gun at Rittenhouse before Rittenhouse shot him. Kind of like the mercy rule in Little League Baseball. When you're down 25-0, it's time to call it. Greater than when you're down 25-0, it's time to call it too soon for some Falcons fans. You had your gun slung on your back and you were moving down the street. Why didn't you take it off and leave it there or give it to someone? There were several of the prosecutor's questions that made me scratch my head. The one where he asked why someone would be urgent about putting out a fire may be my favorite. Might be the worst prosecution team I've ever witnessed. MF pulls out a rifle in court. Not American. But as a lawyer, I can safely say that prosecutor should have his ass thrown back at criminal process I in college. The prosecution was embarrassingly bad. When they were asking him about the violent video games he played, they were grasping at straws. I was watching that part live and I could not believe what I was hearing. Especially when they mentioned there's no such thing as a left-handed or a right-handed gun, as someone cursed with being left-handed. Fuck you, Binger. There absolutely is such a thing. The way he was waving that rifle around during closing arguments made it pretty clear he knows next to nothing about guns. I think he knew. And it was more along the lines of scaring the jury by flagging them with the scary black machine gun. Not surprising in the slightest. I have no opinion on the verdict, but this will definitely be shown in law schools on how not to be a prosecutor. It should be studied as a case not to bring to trial, except that doing so has forced into the public record the facts so many people are determined not to acknowledge. Not many will admit this, but they brought it to trial to avoid riots. This entire shitshow was political theater. It was, you want us to charge this kid? Here. Look at what you're actually asking us to do. There. Are you satisfied? Now go home. Not surprised by the verdict, and I was surprised at how poorly the prosecutor did. Not that he had a good case, but what he did present was poorly done. A lot of times prosecution teams try to overcharge and overindict suspects. No doubt this happened here. They would have had a better chance of winning against Rittenhouse if they had charged him for fewer offenses of reckless endangerment and due regard for safety, or similar Wisconsin sections, and argued that Rittenhouse should not have been there, don't that, etc. They would have never won against the self-defense argument. The prosecutors actually trying the case likely didn't get final call on the charges themselves, then were forced to try to make lemonade from a shit sandwich. I'm surprised it got this far. Prosecutorial misconduct was so rampant in this case, I'm legitimately surprised it didn't end in a mistrial. Withholding evidence, trying to introduce evidence to the jury that was not permitted, and trying to hold the defendant exercising his Fifth Amendment right against him. Might be that the judge trusted that the jury would see what the prosecutor was doing for what it was. Of the two outcomes, mistrial with prejudice and acquittal by the jury, I can imagine that the judge preferred the latter for a whole host of reasons. I heard several different people pose the question but never heard a clear answer to it. What is the last opportunity the judge has to declare a mistrial? Could he just hedge his bet and if the verdict came back guilty then declare a mistrial? Everyone I know who is a lawyer only thought one thing: the case is a loser. It seems like everyone who actually knows about law already knew what the outcome was going to be before the judge or prosecutor started in with their bullshit, while everyone else was busy reading tea leaves. Exactly what I've been trying to tell people. It doesn't matter how much you _1_ him to be guilty. The law and the evidence are pretty clear. Even if the prosecution hadn't bumbled certain stuff, it would have still lost. The kid was innocent by the standards of the law. My perception of the events changed over the course of the trial, which I guess is specifically why we have a trial process. Before, I thought this kid was guilty as hell and the self-defense claim would be BS. As the trial unfolded, new testimonies and evidence was presented. The evidence was pretty obvious that this kid defended himself. Should he have been there and even had the weapon to begin with? That's 100% a different discussion. But the question of is he guilty of murder, to me, was a resounding no. I think he had the right to defend himself as soon as the victims began attacking and rushing him. That I need to stop reading about current events in 140 character bytes as they happen. I was fed a completely false narrative on the event here on Reddit, and I'm absolutely ashamed that I'm as easily fooled as a boomer on Facebook. I'm done with hot takes. Let me know the news of the year at the end of the year. Opinions are overrated. You are not part of the problem because once presented with the evidence you didn't reject objectivity in an effort to remain right. Yep. The problem is Redditors and how hard they try to spin the truth to push a narrative. Rittenhouse is both the conservative and libertarian pro-gun white boy that Reddit hates. They will do anything to make him appear in the wrong. They'll ask questions regarding Rittenhouse's presence protesting a riot but never actually ask why rioters are allowed to burn down buildings and harass people. As an attorney, it was pretty clear. There was some concern that the jury may split the baby and convict him on a lesser included for the second death, but you have to remember the standards you're dealing with. Once you move away from the political background noise and look at it as the way the law looks at self-defense, it becomes pretty clear. I think the media are trying their hardest to make it divide the people even more and stir up more ill feeling. That's how they make their money and get engagement, especially the cable news networks. Print media is somewhat better, depending on the source in question. Ghislaine Maxwell case starts today in case y'all got distracted again. Remember her? Ghislaine Maxwell didn't kill herself. I feel like this is the kind of comment section that I should grab my popcorn for. I think the guy who spearheaded the prosecution should be considered unqualified to hammer in a nail. But also think this was the correct verdict. I am Australian, so obviously whole other kettle of fish if it happened here, but with the relevant laws. Correct call. He also should be disbarred for attempting to argue that Rittenhouse's Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate himself is evidence of his guilt. Twice. I hope somebody uploads a supercut of the prosecution. See a lot of mentions on how they essentially were trash. Ada throws unwinnable case. My prediction: in a few years at most everyone will forget about this. Ada will receive a grade in state promotion/appointment or a leg up into Washington. The DA charges: Ada just tried the case. Basically, his boss fucked up because of political pressure. The videos of someone being chased and beaten before using a gun in self-defense was pretty obvious. The biggest reflection I've got after watching tens of hours of trial during the past week: almost all the talking heads on the media have it wrong to some degree. These clowns sit around and comment on everything under the sun. They get it wrong, and people take that as fact. I'm convinced that mixing news and entertainment is basically what will lead to this country's demise. You would think we would have learned this with Nancy Grace, but here we are. That woman admitted she ruined innocent people's lives and no one cared because it was good TV. Looking forward to Nick Sandman 2.0 on the media now. When the guy said he pointed the gun at Rittenhouse before Rittenhouse pointed his at him, the trial was over. It was clear to me that it was self-defense. I'm not a lawyer, but the prosecutor shouldn't be either. He's an asshole. Knew CPR and couldn't even stop the prosecutor from choking on his own words. It was the correct verdict. No rational person who actually saw the videos of the incident, instead of simply believing what their TV told them, would think this was anything other than self-defense. Couple of thoughts though: 1. The FBI drone footage clearly shows Rittenhouse trying to run away, and being chased and attacked by the people he would then shoot. Okay, that's fine. But how come nobody is asking why the hell the FBI was there taking drone footage in the first place? 2. The Ghislaine Maxwell trial is starting right now. Politically, this should be a much bigger deal, yet the media is practically silent on it. Why? Also, Epstein didn't kill himself. Roadhouse, 100% Peter Griffin voice in my head. He wasn't guilty, and he's not a hero. Both are true. Jurors chose correctly based on presented evidence.